In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. When we are child, prior to entering the school, and then the first few years of schooling, the good luck actually mean that we do have the toys to play and have some money to buy from the eatable things made and packed for the children. So this is all what we mean success and happiness. After the passage of another few years, we get more inclined toward the friendships. These friendships and relationships becomes very important to us, becomes the number one priority. Like the toys and certain other edible things in the edible, particularly for the children. So, so this the friendships becomes the most important priority for us. Still, after the passage of certain other years, after entering the new next stage of our life, it is the career and the spouse which becomes our number one priorities. Still, after the passage of a decade or 1.5 decade, it is the assets and the income and the assets which become our very much important. Plus, it is the kids, the family, the health of the family, the education of the family, education of the kids, finances and assets. Then, still after the passage of another certain years, we start thinking that it is the health. It is our health which is by far the most important thing for us. So our priorities get changing with the passage of time. With the change of circumstances on the one hand, and with the broadening of our horizon on the other end. It is the circumstances, it is the circumstances, and it is the vision, the horizon we are having, which determines what is going to be our priority, what is going to be our number one priority, and whatever is going to become our number two and number three priority in the life. Circumstances, situations, experiences, these does change our policy, our priorities, our way of action, our lifestyle. But it is the vision actually, it is our horizon actually, because which actually makes us somewhat a wise, sagacious human being. We, on the basis of our horizon, the more, the broader horizon we do have, the better vision we do have, the more wise person we do become. And we do start working and preferring the things which are not of momentary importance only, but are the things which are more important and more important to us in the longer term, and the presence, the achievement, the possession of those things makes a bigger change and improvement in our lives and keep impacting us, affecting our life for a longer period of time. It is very important actually, and very much important rather, to have the good vision. It is our vision about the life which determines how satisfied we do feel, how much of the contentment, how much of the feelings and the sense of the success and the sense of the fulfillment we do have. Although it is the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if somebody is able to see what is going to be our needs, what are going to be our preferences after the passage of a decade or two. I think that becoming a visionary person, as far our own life is concerned, it is not as difficult and as complicated as it was and is considered by most of the people, because all what we need is that we need to peep into our future. We need to look ahead. We need to broaden our horizon. We need to develop some sort of vision. The vision for the time to come. It was being thought that this is something very complicated and only the genius few are able to do that, while all the rest of the people, they stay focused upon the needs they are having at the moment and will not be able to look forward, will not be able to peep into the future due to the lack of the vision. I am of the view, I am of the view, it is not as complicated as it used to be considered. It is not as difficult as it was earlier considered. All what is needed is, all what is required is that we people should be trying to understand, even after our discussion with the wise people, with the intelligent people, with the learned people, with the well educated people, what our needs are going to be at the last stage of our life and even beyond. We need to think, we need to ponder upon, we need to consider what our needs, our wants, our desires will be after a decade or two, at the last stage of my life, and even afterwards. It is as simple as this one. So I think so that keeping in view this formula while working upon this methodology, it is not complicated at all, not difficult at all to be able to know, to be able to understand what my needs are going to be in the next stage of the life, or even the second next stage of my life, at the end of my life, or even afterwards. The simplest ever thing is, even if we try to simplify it further, all what is needed is that we need to know what is going to be my needs and preferences in the next stage of my life, and then the very next to that, at least two stages of my life, or even if this is considered difficult and complicated, we should be able to know, and we should be able to understand what the needs of mine are going to be in the next stage of my life, and while trying to fulfill the wants and the needs of this stage of the life, we should also be having this thing in the mind that at the same time I do have to keep preparing what the next stage of my life will be demanding for me, and I do have to think a little bit about it. I do have to provide a little bit about it as well. Thank you.